I used to believe that a mother could sense when her child's heart was drifting away from her, like how birds know when the seasons are changing, or how the sea feels the pull of the moon. But with Marcus there was no warning, no shift in the wind, no subtle chill in the air. There was only absence. Cold, quiet, unrelenting absence. The kind that creeps into a house long before death ever visits it. Asterisk asterisk, one asterisk asterisk. Our home used to sound different. Years ago, when Marcus was still a boy, it echoed with slammed doors, laughter, the thudding of small feet running down the hallway, always running, always chasing something, always asking questions. Back then, his voice carried the unfiltered joy of someone who believed life was boundless, that tomorrow would always come. After my husband, Daniel, died, that voice changed. The first time I heard Marcus scream, not out of anger but grief, it tore through the house like lightning splitting a tree. He was 17, old enough to understand what death meant, but too young to swallow its bitterness. I held him as he sobbed, my own tears falling into his hair. But even as I clung to him, I felt the moment he pulled away from me. Not physically, something deeper, as if grief had reached into his chest and rearranged things, his love, his trust, his innocence, leaving behind a hollow space I didn't know how to fill. That was 12 years ago. Today at 29, Marcus no longer slams doors or laughs or runs. He walks slowly now, deliberately, like someone moving through a world that owes him something. His voice is softer, but not in a gentle way, soft like a blade hidden inside cloth. And when he looked at me lately, I often felt like I was being evaluated. Measured, weighed, like he was already imagining what my absence would look like. Asterisk asterisk, two asterisk asterisk. It started subtly, small things, almost invisible gestures that I brushed off as stress, or adulthood, or the heaviness of losing his father so young. But the signs were there. The first time he asked about my will, it was summer. Hot, drowsy, lazy summer. The kind that smells like sunscreen and ripe peaches. He sat at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee he never finished, fingers tapping the ceramic mug. "Mom," he said abruptly, "do you have things sorted out, just in case?" I paused, slicing fruit, and almost joked. "Are you trying to get rid of me?" His eyes flicked up. For a second, just a second, I saw something unreadable pass through them. Then he laughed, a hollow, practiced sound. "No, I worry. You've been sick a lot lately." I believed him. I wanted to believe him. I told myself he cared. I told myself he was becoming responsible. I told myself that sons sometimes asked awkward, uncomfortable questions. I told myself everything except the truth. Mothers are very good liars when they need to protect the world they built around their children. Asterisk asterisk, three asterisk asterisk. The decline of my health did not help. 3 years ago, my heart began its slow, unpredictable rebellion. Some days it beat like a frightened bird, other days like a drum underwater. Doctors told me I needed rest, medication, careful monitoring. Marcus told me I needed him. He began visiting more often. At first, I was grateful. He brought groceries. He checked on my pill organizers. He fixed broken light bulbs and changed the batteries in the smoke alarms. Then slowly, so slowly I barely noticed his visits turned into inspections. He stood over me when I took my medication. He asked too casually if I was feeling worse. He told me not to walk alone, not to cook alone, not to open the door for anyone. "You're fragile, Mom," he said once, with an odd little smile. "You never know what could happen." It was meant to sound caring. It didn't. Fragile. He said it as if he liked the word on his tongue. Asterisk asterisk, 4 asterisk asterisk. The day I realized something was truly wrong came a few months before everything collapsed. I was sitting in the garden, my cane leaning against my chair, watching the sparrows pick at the bird feeder. The sunlight warmed my shoulders, and I felt, if only briefly, like life still had soft pockets of peace left for me. Marcus stepped outside, holding a folder of documents. "Mom," he said, "we need to talk." "About what, sweetheart?" I asked, smiling. He didn't smile back. He didn't even sit down. He opened the folder. "These are some financial forms I think you should sign. Nothing major. Just power of attorney stuff. You know, in case something happens." Something cold slid down my spine. I had not asked for power of attorney paperwork. No doctor had suggested it. No legal advisor had recommended it. "Why now?" I asked quietly. He shrugged, just being proactive. "You've been dizzy a lot lately." I pushed the papers back toward him. "Marcus, I'm not signing anything right now." His jaw tightened. For a second, I saw anger pure and sharp flash behind his eyes. Then he forced a smile. "Sure. We can talk about it later." But he didn't leave. Not right away. He just stood there, staring at me, as if calculating how many marbles were left in the jar of my life, and how quickly they could roll away. #***5***. I told myself I was imagining it. I told myself grief can warp a young man into something bitter. I told myself financial strain can twist kindness into resentment. I told myself illness can cast suspicion on innocent gestures. But I also started sleeping with my bedroom door slightly open, just in case. I hated that I did it. I hated that I needed to. A mother shouldn't fear her child, not even in passing, not even in imagination. But I wasn't imagining, not anymore. #**6***. There were moments, brief ones, when the real Marcus, my Marcus, glimmered through. Like the night he made soup for me when I couldn't stop shaking, or the afternoon he brought flowers because the house looked sad, or the morning he called just to say he missed me. But warmth from him came like winter sunlight, thin, fleeting, without substance. Other times, the darker side, the calculating, restless side, took over. He watched me too closely. He asked too many questions about my symptoms. He hovered, but not out of love. As weeks passed, I noticed something that made my stomach twist. Marcus wasn't worried that I would die. He was waiting for it. #**7***. On one particularly cold evening, I overheard his phone call. He thought I was asleep in the living room. I wasn't. I heard him pacing in the hallway, voice low, tense. "Yeah, I know what I'm doing," he whispered sharply. "She's getting worse. It's only a matter of time." Pause. "No, I can't push her. She has to go naturally, otherwise there are questions." Another pause. "Just be patient. Once everything's transferred, it'll all make sense." Transferred. The word hit me like a thrown stone. I didn't confront him. My heart was too fragile, my mind too foggy. And the little boy he used to be, the one who left sticky fingerprints on the fridge and fell asleep in my lap after thunderstorms, that boy kept whispering inside me, "Maybe you misunderstood. Maybe he's stressed. Maybe he still loves you." But another voice, quieter, older, wiser, was growing louder too. "Something is wrong. Something is very, very wrong." #**8***. The night before everything happened, Marcus stayed over. He sat on the edge of my bed and watched me take my pills one by one. "You seem tired," he said softly. "I'm old," I joked weakly. "It happens." He tilted his head. "Maybe you should rest more than you already do." There was an edge in his tone I didn't like. His eyes swept over the room, the safe, the drawer where I kept important documents, the medicine cabinet. "Always assessing, always thinking. You know," he murmured, "I don't want you suffering. If it ever gets too hard, you can trust me to make decisions for you, Marcus." I said gently, "I'm not ready for those decisions. Not yet." He smiled. It wasn't a loving smile, not even close. It was the smile of someone who already had a plan. #**9***. I did not sleep that night. Something inside me felt restless, unsettled, like the air before a storm. At dawn, I sat on the edge of the bed, listening to the faint creaks of the house settling around me. The world outside was quiet, gray, still, and my heart felt heavier than it ever had. I whispered to myself, "Please, God, don't let him give up on me. Don't let him become someone who can hurt me." But by then, maybe the transformation was complete. Maybe I'd simply refused to see it. Maybe love had blinded me more than illness ever did. **** 10. The final shift ***. The morning he locked me in my room began like any other, but something about him was different. He moved with a strange kind of calm, unnatural, practiced, calculated, like someone who had already made peace with a decision. He brought me breakfast but didn't make eye contact. He tidied the room without speaking. Then he took my phone. "Why?" I asked, confused. "You need to rest," he said. "You keep calling people when you're anxious. You should just sleep." I frowned. "Marcus, give it back." He didn't. He walked toward the door. "Marcus," I repeated, my voice rising. "Give it back." He paused, turned slightly, and for the first time in years I saw the truth clearly. My son wasn't thinking about my comfort. He wasn't thinking about my health. He wasn't thinking about my heart. He was thinking about my absence. Then he stepped out, closed the door, and click the lock turned from the outside. He didn't say goodbye. He didn't even say anything at all. He simply walked away, just like that, like he was counting the days. Like he was calculating the hours. Like he had already decided my life had reached its expiration date. And as the echo of the lock faded, I whispered to the empty room, "My God, my own son." The moment Marcus's footsteps disappeared down the hall, a silence fell so thick it felt like the walls were listening to my heartbeat. Or maybe they were waiting for it to stop. At first, I didn't believe it. My son, the boy I raised, the boy I forgave countless times, the boy who once cried in my arms couldn't truly mean to leave me here. Not like this, not intentionally, but the locked door was a truth I couldn't argue with, and the pain in my chest was a truth I couldn't ignore. ***1 Day 1. The fear ***, it began with pounding, not my heart, my fists. I stumbled to the door, leaning heavily on the wood for support, and started knocking. First gently, then harder, then desperately. "Marcus," my voice cracked. Marcus opened the door. Nothing. Just the soft settling of the house, the faint whistle of wind outside, and the dull ringing in my ears. I tried again. "Marcus, please, I don't feel well." My heart thudded unevenly, a rhythm that felt wrong. Pain bloomed across my chest like a spreading bruise. I bent forward, gasping. "Baby, please," I whispered, palm pressed flat against the door. "Don't do this." I waited, a minute, 2, 5, silence. I felt something fragile inside me splinter. He wasn't coming back. ***2. The realization ***, the first hour was denial, the second was confusion. By the third, reality seeped in like a slow poison. He took my phone, he locked me in, he didn't answer. He knew very well that my heart could give out at any moment. He knew the doctor said if I had another severe episode without medical help, I wouldn't survive it. He knew everything, and he chose to leave anyway, because death for him was no longer tragedy. It was opportunity. I slid to the floor, back against the door, legs trembling. The room tilted slightly, the way it often did during my dizzy spells, but this time there was no one to steady me. Tears welled hot and humiliating. This can't be happening. I whispered, "Not my son, not my son." But the truth sat heavy in my chest, heavier than the pain, heavier than the fear. Marcus wanted me gone. ***3. The long night *** darkness descended slowly, stretching through the corners of the room like a living thing. I remained on the floor, wrapped in my own shivering arms. The cold felt sharper without access to the thermos that Marcus had turned off my space heater earlier that week to save electricity. The irony stung. By nightfall, the pain in my chest returned in waves. I crawled back to the bed, inch by inch, because standing felt like dragging my bones uphill. I managed to pull myself onto the mattress, but every breath scraped. I tried to sleep, thinking unconsciousness might at least free me from the pain. But fear kept nudging me awake, fear that if I fell asleep, I wouldn't wake up. At one point, I whispered into the darkness, "Daniel, if you can hear me, I'm scared." My voice broke. I hadn't cried that hard since the night he died. ****** 4. Memories that hurt ***** during the long, suffocating hours, my mind drifted back through time, searching for answers. Searching for moments that could explain how Marcus became this. I remembered his childhood, how he loved bedtime stories, how he would crawl into my lap and fall asleep before I reached the last page. I remembered his teenage years, rebellious, angry, sharp-edged, but still human. He still hugged me then. Still listened sometimes, still cared. I remembered when his father died, how Marcus stopped speaking to me for weeks. How he punched a hole in the wall, how he looked at me with eyes full of resentment, as if I had chosen to live while his father hadn't. Loss changes people, but I never imagined it could twist love into something predatory. I pressed my hands against my aching chest and sobbed until the pain forced me to stop. Where did I go wrong? I whispered into the void, but the void offered no answer. ***5 Day 2. The weakness ***, when the morning light seeped through the curtains, I felt like a shadow of myself. My mouth was dry, my head throbbed, my heart fluttered in irregular beats, each one a reminder I was running out of time. I tried to stand, my legs buckled. I grabbed the nightstand, steadying myself. I needed water, food, medication, but everything was outside the locked door, on the other side of my son's choice. The room smelled faintly of dust. My breathing grew shallow. My palms were clammy. A strange numbness crept through my fingers. The fear of dying wasn't new. But dying alone, abandoned, intentionally neglected by the person I loved most, that was a new kind of terror. I called out again, "Marcus." My voice barely rose above a whisper. "Please, please come back." Silence answered. I started crying again. Not loudly, just soft, exhausted sobs that felt like they were leaking from my soul rather than my eyes. I wasn't afraid of death. I was afraid of how pointless my life would feel if it ended like this. ***6. Crawling toward hope, ***, sometime in the afternoon, though time had become meaningless, I remembered something. A memory from years ago, a sound, a click in the wall, Daniel's voice echoing faintly in my mind, "Just in case, my love, you'll never be alone if something happens." He had installed a hidden emergency device in the wall after my first health scare. A silent beacon that contacted his oldest friend and our family lawyer simultaneously. I hadn't thought about it in years. It felt like a distant dream, but the more I focused on the memory, the more real it felt. There was hope in this room. I just needed to reach it. The panel was on the far side of the bedroom, near the bookshelf. Too far for me to walk, maybe too far for me to crawl, but what choice did I have? I slid off the bed, landing on my knees with a jolt of pain. The floor felt like ice, breathing felt like swallowing knives, but I began crawling. I gripped the rug, pulled myself forward, inhaled sharply when pain shot up my arms. Halfway there, I collapsed. "God help me," I wheezed. I rested my cheek against the floor, eyes half closed, body trembling. The panel seemed miles away. But then I thought of Marcus's cold eyes, his eagerness for my demise, his hand turning the lock without hesitation. I felt anger then, a spark, small but alive. I am not dying like this. I whispered, and I kept crawling. ***7. The panel ***, when my fingers finally brushed the bottom of the bookshelf. I cried in relief, so raw it scraped my throat. Above me, hidden behind a wooden slat, was the small panel Daniel installed. I reached up, but my arm shook violently. I couldn't get enough leverage to push myself higher. I tried again, failed, my vision blurred. My heart stuttered painfully. If I passed out now, It was over. With a last burst of desperation, I hooked my arm around the bottom shelf and pulled, lifting my body just enough to reach the hidden latch. My fingers missed it twice. On the third try, they caught it. The panel slid open. Inside was the device, small, silver, and blessedly real. I pressed the button. A soft click sounded. A tiny red light blinked. Then the room went dark again as I collapsed onto the floor, gasping. I had done it. Now I could only hope anyone, was close enough to save me before it was too late. #****, 8, Day 3. The fade ****, I don't remember everything from the third day. The world came in fragments, blurred and dreamlike. Voices in the distance. Footsteps that weren't real. My own breathing, labored and thin. My body trembling violently, then going numb. At one point, I saw Daniel standing beside the bed, smiling sadly, reaching out his hand. Not yet. I whispered to him. Please, not yet. The hallucination faded. Later, I heard banging, real banging, not imagined, then distant yelling. My name, a man's voice I faintly recognized. The room spun. My eyes closed. I felt myself slipping. ##*, 9. The door opens, ****. The last thing I remember before consciousness broke completely was the sound of my bedroom door bursting open. A rush of cold air, the thud of hurried footsteps, hands warm, steady, lifting me from the floor, a line, stay with us, stay with us. A voice cried. I tried to speak, but my lips barely parted. Then, faintly, before the darkness swallowed me, call the ambulance now, and where the hell is her son? Darkness took me. A soft, merciful blanket, but not the final one, not yet. Because for the first time in 3 days, ****, I was no longer alone. ****, the world returned to me slowly, hesitantly, like a timid animal approaching a wounded stranger. At first I heard muffled sounds, distant and underwater, floating somewhere between dream and reality. Voices blurred together, footsteps thudded across my bedroom floor, something metallic clattered, and the sharp scent of antiseptic cut through the air. I tried opening my eyes, but they felt sewn shut. For a moment, I wondered if I had died. But then a voice firm, familiar, broke through the fog. A line, it's Torres. Can you hear me? Torres, Daniel's closest friend. The man Daniel trusted with everything he didn't trust the world with. If Torres was here, it meant the beacon worked. I wasn't dead, not yet. A cold oxygen mask pressed against my face. Light flooded my eyelids. My fingers twitched weakly. A line, Torres said again, voice shaking, we've got you. And with those words, the darkness retreated completely. ##*, 1, awakening, ****. When my eyes finally opened, the room swam into view. My bed was surrounded paramedics on either side, sorting equipment, attaching monitors, speaking in hurried whispers. A police officer stood near the door, his expression tense, and Torres stood nearest to me, his hand gripping my wrist as if anchoring me to life itself. His eyes were red, his clothes wrinkled, as if he'd driven straight here without stopping. I tried to speak, but the oxygen mask muffled everything into faint gasps. You're all right, Torres whispered. Just breathe. You're safe. Safe. The word felt foreign, so beautiful it hurt. But before I could fully grasp that I was alive, a loud crash sounded from the hallway. All eyes snapped toward the door. And then he appeared. ##*, 2. Marcus enters, ****. Marcus entered the room like a man walking into his own nightmare. His face drained of all color the moment he saw the paramedics. His eyes widened in disbelief when he noticed the police officer. And when his gaze finally landed on me alive, breathing held, protected, his entire body froze. For a moment, the room was silent. He opened his mouth, no sound came out, then, suddenly, his voice broke free. What is this? What's happening? His words were frantic, uneven. Why are you in here? Who are these people? Why? He stopped mid-sentence, swallowing hard. It was almost possible to see the exact second realization struck him. The plan, the inheritance, the locked door, the 3 days of silence, all unraveling before him. A paramedic stepped forward. "Sir, please step back. Your mother is in critical condition, and we're stabilizing her." Marcus's voice cracked. "My mother? No, no, she was fine. She was resting. I checked on her earlier." One of the paramedics shot him a withering look. "She hasn't eaten, had fluids, or taken medication for at least 72 hours. Her heart rhythm is unstable. She wouldn't have survived much longer." Marcus staggered backward. That's impossible." He pointed at me, arm trembling. She didn't say anything. She didn't call for help." I tried to speak, but all that came out was a weak exhale. Torres stepped forward, his voice low and dangerous. "She couldn't call, Marcus." Marcus blinked rapidly. What do you mean?" Torres reached into his coat pocket and pulled something out. "My phone. My stolen phone." Marcus's face went white. "You took her phone," Torres said flatly, "and you locked her in this room." That's not true," Marcus sputtered. I was trying to help. She was confused. She panicked. She needed rest." A police officer stepped toward him. "Sir, please stay where you are." Marcus's eyes darted around the room, searching for an escape. A lie? A miracle? Anything. What he found instead was the lawyer, Mr. Carvalho, entering behind him, holding a small, discreet device in his gloved hand. A camera, the one hidden in the corner of the room, the medical safety camera Daniel installed years ago, designed specifically to monitor me in case of collapse or emergency. This, the lawyer said quietly, lifting the device, recorded everything. Everything, the moment Marcus took my phone. The moment he locked the door, the moment he ignored my pleas, every minute of every day, Marcus's mouth opened. No sound came out this time. The officer spoke again, voice stern. "Sir, we will need you to come with us." Marcus stumbled backward, shaking his head violently. No, you don't understand. I wasn't trying to hurt her." His voice cracked into something high and panicked. This is all a misunderstanding." The officer stepped closer. "Son," he said, not unkindly, "we've seen the footage." Marcus let out a strangled, broken scream. A sound of pure terror. #**3. A son confronted **** as the police moved toward him. Marcus's eyes snapped to mine. "Mom," he cried, "tell them. Please tell them I didn't mean it." My heart felt like it was tearing. I wanted to speak, to explain, to ask why my own child abandoned me, but my voice was gone, trapped behind pain and exhaustion and trauma. All I could do was stare, and whatever he saw in my eyes hurt, betrayal, the raw truth, made him collapse emotionally. He sank to his knees, hands trembling. "Mom," he whispered hoarsely, I thought it would be quick. I thought you were suffering. I thought it was time." The excuses twisted like knives. He wasn't confessing. He was scrambling. He was realizing the consequences. And he was terrified not for me, but for himself. I closed my eyes, tears slipping down my cheeks, because in that moment I saw the boy I raised. The man he became, the monster he almost let himself be. The police lifted him to his feet. He didn't resist. He didn't look away from me. He just stared, shaking, breathing in shallow gasps, as if the reality of what he had done was finally suffocating him. "Mom," he whispered again, voice breaking. "I didn't think you'd survive." The officer tightened his grip. "Let's go," Marcus cried out a raw, animalistic sound, and they pulled him from the room. As the door closed behind him, the echo of his panic lingered in the air like smoke. But I felt no triumph, no satisfaction, only a hollow ache that thrummed between my ribs. The son who should have been my protection had almost become my death. ***4. The aftermath, inside the room ***. Once Marcus was gone. The room shifted. The paramedics worked quickly, lifting me onto a stretcher, securing Roman 4 lines, sliding blankets around my trembling body. My vision dimmed, then sharpened, then dimmed again. Torres reached for my hand, squeezing it tightly. "It's over," he murmured. "You're safe now. We won't let anything happen to you again." Safe. The word finally sank in. The oxygen mask hummed softly. The stretcher rolled forward. Light from the hallway flooded the room, almost too bright to bear. As they carried me out, I glanced back. The door hung open, wide open, the same door that had been my prison for 3 days. Now it led to hallway lights, to voices, to life, to freedom. And as they wheeled me away, I realized something I couldn't fully understand before. Asterisk, asterisk, sometimes the door that opens is not the escape, but the revelation of who truly stands behind it. Asterisk, asterisk, I always thought revenge was something loud, something fiery, something with a scream or a slammed door or a dramatic final line. It wasn't. Not for me. My revenge came quietly, like a sunrise creeping over a frozen landscape. Slow, steady, inevitable. It came in the soft beeping of hospital monitors, in the warm hands of nurses who treated me with more kindness than my own son had shown in years, in the realization that survival, the simple, stubborn act of continuing to breathe, was enough to dismantle the entire plan Marcus had built around my death. Sweet revenge wasn't about hurting him. It was about asterisk asterisk living despite him. Asterisk asterisk hash hash asterisk asterisk 1. Recovery asterisk asterisk. The hospital room became my sanctuary. Clean sheets, open windows, fresh air that didn't taste like fear. Every morning, a nurse checked my heart rhythm and smiled kindly. Every afternoon, a doctor came in to adjust my medications. Every night, Torres sat by my side, talking softly, making sure I never felt alone. For the first time in years, I felt safe. But safety didn't erase the wound Marcus left behind. It didn't quiet the echo of those 3 days. It didn't erase the image of my son's face, cold, calculating, as he turned that lock. Sometimes I woke up gasping, convinced the door was shut again, convinced the darkness had returned. A nurse would rush in, whispering, "You're okay, Aline, you're okay." And slowly, piece by piece, I believed it. Healing wasn't linear. It was jagged, painful, unpredictable. But I healed anyway. Hash hash asterisk asterisk 2. The trial of a son asterisk asterisk Marcus's arrest made the local news. Son accused of locking mother in room, leaving her without help. Attempted filicide investigation underway. Medical footage confirms elder abuse. Every headline carved a deeper ache into my chest. Not because I cared what strangers thought, but because the world was seeing a part of Marcus I'd shielded them from for years. The trial process was long, full of hearings, evaluations, and evidence review. I didn't attend every session. I wasn't strong enough, but I attended the one that mattered. The day Marcus faced the footage, he sat in the defendant's chair, pale, trembling, barely holding himself together. His lawyer tried to argue diminished capacity, stress, misinterpretation, but the video didn't lie. There I was on screen, falling from the bed, crawling across the floor, begging, pounding on the door. Crying, collapsing, calling his name over and over, and there was Marcus taking the phone, turning the lock. Walking away, the courtroom was silent when the footage ended. Marcus bowed his head, covering his face with both hands as if hiding from the truth could undo it. The prosecutor asked, "Do you deny your actions now?" He didn't answer. He couldn't. A part of me broke during that hearing. Another part, one that had been crushed under guilt and denial for years, finally stood tall. This wasn't my fault. His choices were his own. The judge ordered psychological evaluations, but ultimately, there was no escaping responsibility. Marcus was charged with attempted murder and elder abuse. The sentencing would come months later, but for me, the weight lifted that day. Hash hash asterisk asterisk 3. A mother's final decision asterisk asterisk. A week after the courtroom hearing, Torres brought a thick folder of documents to my hospital room. "You should look these over," he said gently, "for your future, and for closure." Inside was my will, the one Marcus had hoped would place him at the center of everything, the one he nearly killed me for. I read through it slowly, each line a reminder of the life I built, the losses I survived, and the legacy I wanted to leave behind. The lawyer asked quietly, "Do you want to keep Marcus in any part of it, even a portion?" I didn't answer right away. Despite everything, despite the betrayal, the danger, the pain, he was still my son, my only child, a piece of my soul walking in the world. But then I remembered the locked door, the silence, the cold calculation in his eyes. And I remembered something my husband once told me: love doesn't mean accepting harm. Sometimes love is choosing peace, even if it means letting go. So I closed the folder and whispered, "No, remove him from everything." Instead, I directed my estate toward charities for elder abuse victims, single mothers, and a small foundation in Daniel's name. My legacy would be healing, not enabling destruction. #**4, The Garden of Peace ***, months later. After rehab, after therapy, after rebuilding strength I thought was gone forever, I returned home. Not the house where I almost died. I couldn't live there anymore. Torres helped me find a quiet cottage on the outskirts of town. Small, cozy, peaceful, behind it was a garden. Overgrown, tangled, wild, but beautiful. I spent weeks tending it, pulling weeds, planting new flowers, whispering to the soil like Daniel used to. One morning, while watering a row of jasmine, I felt something shift inside me, a lightness, a release. A breeze swept through the garden, carrying the faint scent of memory. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel afraid. I felt free. #**5. The sweetest revenge ***. People often think revenge is punishing the one who hurt you. But the greatest revenge I ever achieved was refusing to let Marcus's cruelty define my ending. I survived. Despite him, in defiance of him, I rebuilt my life, found peace in small moments, smiled without guilt, slept without nightmares. That was revenge, the sweetest kind, because it meant that Marcus didn't get what he wanted. He didn't get my death. He didn't get my wealth. He didn't get my silence. All he got was the truth. All I kept was my life. #**6 Epilogue. The visit ***. A year later, I visited Daniel's grave. I brought a small bouquet of lilies and placed them carefully by the headstone. "I made it," I whispered. "I'm here." The wind rustled the leaves, a butterfly landed on my wrist. And for a brief moment I felt Daniel beside me, not as a ghost, but as a memory of love strong enough to outlive everything else. "I wish you could have saved him too," I whispered softly, "but I know some choices aren't ours to make." I stood up, wiping tears from my cheeks. I survived. I said aloud, I chose life. And the wind seemed to answer, ***, that is enough. ***.